Beautiful live picture at the White House, 7:38 on a Friday morning. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the union that represents more than 300,000 UPS employees, has announced strike preparations are moving into, quote, high gear after contract negotiations collapsed on Wednesday. Both UPS and negotiators for the employees blamed each other for the talks breaking down, with the Teamsters saying UPS walked away from the table, while UPS is saying the union stopped the negotiations. There now are just 24 days before the current UPS employee contract expires. For an update on where things stand, let's bring in the general president for the Teamsters, Sean O'Brien. Sean, thanks for being with us this morning. I'll let you walk us through the state from your point of view of the negotiations, but also important to point out from our viewers, what happens if this strike goes on July 31st? If there's no deal before then, what does that mean for consumers? What does that mean for the economy?
Well, if there's no deal by July 31st, then UPS chose to strike themselves. We've made a lot of progress since January. We've got 44 supplements nationwide and a national agreement. We've come to agreement on most of the terms. Now we're down to economics. And July 5th at 4:15 a.m., UPS said they had no more to give. We were talking about part-timers, and part-time poverty doesn't work anymore in this country. So they said they had no more to give, and that was it. So we've been making plans in case they don't come to their senses and choose to strike themselves on what we're going to do.
So, Sean, let's talk a little bit more about the economics of it. You say that's the difference. And give us a little more specifics as to what that means, particularly at a time when we've seen inflation really soar in recent years.
So what you're seeing is, our members, the 340,000, provided goods and service through the most difficult times, the pandemic, with total disregard for their health and the safety of their families. And, UPS has record profits over those years, and now it's time to pay the people that have made them the success that they are. They'll be out there with their rhetoric saying, our employees make 93,000. And that might be true for the drivers and tractor-trailer drivers, but they're working 60, 65 hours per week. What they don't tell you is about the unsung heroes in those buildings that, unless a package is loaded on those trucks, they don't get delivered. Those are the single mothers. Those are the people working 2 and 3 jobs at poverty wages, trying to make a living. They need to be taken care of. They need to be rewarded. And UPS chose not to do it right now. UPS knows exactly what we need to get this contract done.
So, Sean, you sat down, you said at this point the White House has not been involved. We should note there is no labor secretary at the moment. But speak, if you will, to this national moment we're in about workers and, frankly, about strikes or threats thereof. The writer strike, of course, out in Hollywood. Right. We've had train conductors were threatening, restaurant workers. What do you think this is happening right now? And is it connected to the pandemic?
Well, I think what it is people are fed up with seeing how many these big corporations rake in all these profits, and don't reward the people that make them a success. And it's great for the labor movement because people are finally realizing it's about Main Street. It's not about Wall Street anymore. And the people that provide the goods and services should be rewarded accordingly. UPS has the right opportunity right now to be the model of how corporations should treat their people. They should be out there making certain that they are paying these folks the right way, making sure they're providing good working conditions. And look, anything that happens on July 31st or after that, if we don't get an agreement, that's a self-inflicted wound UPS is putting into themselves.
Sean, and by the way, you get a lot of accolades from fellow labor leaders, Lee Saunders, who has asked me and is on the board, of NAN and others. Doesn't this really come down to when you look at how UPS made these great profits during the pandemic, while a lot of your members were really putting a risk to life and limb? And it seems as though that they at UPS are oblivious to the sacrifices and the fact that, as you say, some of them are living almost at poverty level when they made a bonanza of money during the pandemic. I mean, isn't it about sensitivity and corporate accountability?
It's about $100 billion that UPS made. And it's
$100 billion.
$100 billion. It's embarrassing for them when they're part-timers who provide the goods and services, load those trucks, sacrifice time at home, a living, subsidized housing, or maybe on a food stamp program. It's embarrassing for them. They got an opportunity right now to shine as a corporation and do the right thing and make certain they provide opportunities for these part-timers for full-time jobs as well. It's not an easy job. Everybody in the neighborhood see their UPS driver, him or her, delivering these packages. They're happy. They don't see the unsung heroes sacrificed inside these warehouses with extreme conditions. They should be rewarded accordingly.
So, Sean, before we let you go, just give us an update as to what's next. With the deadline looming, are there more talks scheduled? What do you hope to see happen?
Look, UPS knows exactly what they need to do to get a deal. We were very close at one point, and we've been clear. We've stated our intentions all along. We've made progress. UPS wants a deal. They know what they need to do.
Teamsters General President Sean O'Brien, let's hope this gets resolved for workers, but also for the American people who count on the hard and excellent work they do every day. We appreciate you being here. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir.